The classroom was buzzing with laughter, but it wasn't the kind that brought warmth or joy. It was cruel, sharp, and cutting. Ms. Arya, the young teacher who had poured her soul into shaping her students' futures, stood frozen at the front of the room, her blouse torn, her dignity ripped apart by a group of bullies who thought humiliation was entertainment. Her eyes burned, not with tears, but with rage. She had endured their snide remarks for months, the mocking whispers about her clothes, the childish pranks, the arrogant glares that screamed defiance. But this was beyond the line. The bullies, led by a boy named Darius, tall, smug, with a grin that twisted like a knife, had staged it perfectly. While two distracted her with questions, another yanked at her bag, pulling her forward. In the chaos, her blouse tore at the shoulder. The entire class erupted into laughter. For a moment, Ms. Arya wanted to run. To hide. To let the shame swallow her whole. But deep down, a voice rose within her, no more. The next day, the students expected the same timid teacher. They expected her to look defeated, perhaps even beg for respect. But when Ms. Arya walked into the classroom, her posture was sharp, her eyes blazing like fire. The room fell silent. She didn't scream, she didn't cry, her silence carried a weight heavier than thunder. She began by rearranging the seating chart, pulling the bullies from the back row comfort zone to the front where every eye could see them. She assigned each of them daily presentations, forcing them to speak, research, and face the same stage they once used to humiliate others. When they stumbled, she didn't laugh, she let the class witness their weakness. The bullies began to taste their own medicine. But she didn't stop there. Ms. Arya found their parents. One by one, she visited their homes after school, armed with evidence of their behavior, notes, recordings, and reports from other teachers. The parents, who thought their children were simply mischievous, were left speechless as she laid out the truth. Darius's father, usually distant, was shocked to hear his son was the ringleader of torment. The real turning point came a week later. Ms. Arya introduced a group project called the Empathy Experiment. Every student was required to share a personal struggle, something real, something raw. At first, the bullies resisted, scoffing at the exercise. But when one shy girl revealed how she cried every night because of their cruelty, the air shifted. Then another boy confessed he was terrified of going home because of constant fights between his parents. Finally, Darius, cornered by the silence of his classmates, spoke. His voice shook as he admitted that his bullying was a mask, a shield to hide the fact that he felt invisible in his own home. For the first time, the class didn't laugh. They listened. The walls of arrogance crumbled, replaced by shame and reflection. The same students who once sneered at Ms. Arya now looked at her with respect. She had not only taken her revenge but had done so in a way that broke their cruelty without breaking their spirits. Weeks later, the atmosphere in the classroom was unrecognizable. The bullies no longer mocked, they participated. They raised their hands. They helped classmates they once targeted. Darius, once the leader of torment, became the one reminding others to show respect. Ms. Arya knew she had won, not by lashing out with violence or hatred, but by holding a mirror to their souls. She turned their cruelty into a lesson, their arrogance into humility. Her revenge was not the brutal destruction they expected, it was transformation. And that was far more powerful. In the end, her story left a message that lingered long after the school bell rang: cruelty can tear clothes, but resilience tears down cruelty itself. True strength is not in striking back, but in teaching others to rise above the darkness within themselves.